ChatGerry T2D Control and Psychological Resilience Without Direct Psychological Data, number 1506, VPT Sharp 065, January 16, 2026. Gerald C. Eclair MD Foundation. Category: Psychology and Physiology. Preface: I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 1986 at the age of 39. Between 1994 and 2003, I suffered 5 cardiovascular episodes. In 2010, I was informed that I had chronic kidney disease, neuropathy, and diabetic retinopathy. Finally, in June 2025, I experienced a near-death hemorrhagic stroke. Over these past 40 years, representing nearly half of my biological life thus far, in addition to enduring multiple mortality diseases, one can easily imagine the magnitude of fear, worry, and psychological stress I have lived under. These experiences were among the reasons I spent 9 years, from 2001 to 2009, self-studying psychology. Furthermore, over the past 16 years, I have self-studied biomedicine and written more than 1,500 single-authored medical research papers. My purpose was simple and practical. I wanted to stabilize my own mind and psychological state, through a deep and thorough understanding of pathology and physiology, and to verify what I had experienced by analyzing more than 4 million data points, collected from my own body over the past 16 years. Why psychological questionnaires are not required. In many studies, the absence of formal psychological questionnaires is viewed as a limitation. In this study, I did not collect depression or anxiety survey scores. Within the Viscoplastopology framework, this is not a weakness, it is a deliberate choice. VPT focuses on how a system behaves over time, not on subjective labels measured at a single moment. When psychological stress is viewed through a viscoplastic lens, it does not appear as a questionnaire score. It appears as changes in system stability, recovery speed, response amplitude, and long-term energy dissipation. These behaviors can be identified objectively from longitudinal physiological biomarkers and lifestyle detailed data. Long-term data as psychological proxies. From 2010 through 2025, I collected dense, continuous data across multiple physiological biomarkers and daily lifestyle behaviors, including glucose control, body weight, food intake, carbohydrates and sugar, physical activity, sleep, and daily consistency. Together, these variables reflect how the body and mind respond to psychological stress over time. Chronic psychological strain does not remain hidden. It leaves measurable marks, larger fluctuations, slower recovery, exaggerated responses to similar stressors, and gradual loss of control stability. These effects are visible in numbers. They do not depend on emotional self-reporting. In this sense, all my biomarker and lifestyle data already include my psychological strengths, weaknesses, and their effects. Psychology is not missing from the analysis. It is embedded in the physiological data. Estimating psychological resilience. Psychological resilience in this study is estimated through observable system patterns. First, long-term stability is assessed through sustained glucose control, body weight management, and consistent daily behaviors. Second, recovery behavior is examined by how smoothly physiological measures return toward healthier ranges after stress. Third, excessive swings or overshooting responses are evaluated as signs of reduced stress absorption capacity. Fourth, cumulative strain energy is analyzed to determine whether the system becomes fragile or remains adaptable over time. Across all measures, my system remained stable after 2014, with reliable recovery and no progressive increase in erratic behavior. This stability persisted despite 36 years of diabetes, 5 cardiovascular events, and a hemorrhagic stroke in 2025. Such behavior is inconsistent with declining psychological resilience. After decades of disease, most systems would become increasingly unstable and recover more slowly. My data show the opposite. If psychological resilience were weakening, I would observe rising noise, delayed recovery, or nonlinear breakdown. I do not see those signals. Viscoplastic energy and topological geometry interpretation. Using VMT, psychological strain acts as the deformation or output axis, while 5 physiological inputs act as input stressors. From 2010 to 2014, cumulative VMT energy rose rapidly, indicating high irreversible energy dissipation. After 2014, the slope flattened markedly. Stress was not absent, but it was absorbed and managed, with far less energy loss. This reflects improved efficiency, not emotional hardening. Topological analysis reinforces this viscoplastic energy conclusion. Early years form a wide, elevated manifold, indicating diffuse and unstable responses. Later years collapse into a compact, low-energy structure, reflecting convergence and coordination. Radar charts show global inflation in 2010, followed by smaller, symmetric shapes in later years. In 2025, selective expansion at a single node reflects situational response, not systemic relapse. Conclusion: Psychological resilience in this viscoplastopology. VPT, analysis is not unmeasured. It is measured indirectly but continuously through long-term stability, recovery behavior, and resistance to deterioration under repeated stress. The findings show a system that maintains strong resilience, far longer than expected, despite heavy physiological burden. This is not a statistical conclusion, it is a systems conclusion. It explains why psychological resilience, once built correctly, tends to persist even in the presence of aging, life events, and unavoidable stressors. From a scientific researcher's viewpoint, I remain deeply impressed by the power of applying physics-based viscoplasticity and mathematics-based topology to medicine. Disclaimer: I write this paper not for fame, but to share what I have learned so others can understand their health, prevent disease, and live longer, healthier lives. This content is provided for educational reference only, and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C.